So we're on to, this is again, item 25B in the agenda and 25A in the staff report. Not a big deal. And Susan, do you want to lead this off?
Thank you. So as a reminder, back in February, the Commission submitted a letter of comment to the California Coastal Commission to express ecological concerns related to the proposed seawater desalination project in Huntington Beach that's currently under consideration. And that letter for reference is listed as Exhibit A1 in your binder. The Commission in June requested that staff prepare a similar letter for consideration by the State Lands Commission in light of its current evaluation of lease amendments associated with updates to the proposed project. In addition, staff highlighted that a letter of response from the project applicant, Poseidon Water, had submitted a response to the Commission's comments to the Coastal Commission and asked staff to take a look at those comments, evaluate whether there was validity to any, and modify the draft letter to the State Lands Commission accordingly. So we've done that we have in your binder as Exhibit A3 a revised draft letter that reflects some of that consideration. Staff recommends that responses that the points made by Poseidon do not alleviate the Commission's concerns about potential impacts of open ocean intake to larvae coming from marine protected areas. And a point of comment is that the document that the Coastal Commission is relying on was an environmental impact report in 2010. It's produced a supplemental environmental impact report, the draft of which the public has just commented on. That 2010 environmental impact report predates the establishment of the Southern California MPAs, and so part of the amendment in the recommended letter is to request that the Coastal Commission undertake an appropriate evaluation now that that network is in place in Southern California. So I do also, we've got, I thank Commissioner Williams for engaging on this topic and providing some constructive feedback into the letter. So we have I have proposed changes to some of the language that I'm happy to read, and the recommendation would be to amend the motion to incorporate these changes. So the first is to the first full paragraph on page 3, which recognizes that impacts to marine life from seawater desalination clearly can be avoided through current technologies such as subsurface intakes. It clarifies that wells and or galleries beneath the sea floor are the alternative to an open pipe in the water column, and further just acknowledges that the proposed project now has a screened open ocean intake as part of its design. The proposed text change is to add, it is our understanding that an earlier feasibility evaluation performed by an independent scientific technical advisory panel jointly convened by the California Coastal Commission and Poseidon Water found the 9 subsurface technologies it evaluated to be technically or economically infeasible. However, we also have been informed that the Santa Ana Regional Water Quality Control Board is currently seeking additional information to help determine if indeed subsurface intakes are feasible at the proposed Huntington Beach site or at alternative sites. The Commission encourages further consideration of subsurface intakes for the Poseidon project proposal consistent with the Ocean Plan Amendment. However, the commission questions the appropriateness or necessity of citing a 50 million gallon per day desalination plant off of Huntington Beach, given the availability of alternative sources of water to augment Orange County's water supply portfolio at much lower economic and environmental cost. The second change is to replace the final paragraph of the letter to state, based on the aforementioned concerns regarding the Poseidon project proposed and any future desalination projects along the California coastline, we urge you to, 1, apply sound scientific information to inform decisions surrounding siting, precautionary design, and technology for intake valves and discharge sites. 2, to seriously evaluate if or how the community needs justifies the impacts associated with the proposed project relative to other options or sightings. And 3, to structure an adaptive process for any approved project to include periodic project review and careful consideration of new scientific information and technologies that may reduce impact, and how to integrate those into the existing project.
Terrific, thank you. Before we go to speaker comments, I'd also add that on the CC list, can we add, I know that we have the executive director of the Coastal Commission, but can we add the chair of the Coastal Commission as well, Dana Bochco?